Mr. DeGood, if the president were to put forward a proposal that privatized leveraged private equity capital as the primary federal role addressing water infrastructure projects, what would be the likely impact to communities like mine or anybody else's where local ratepayers already having a difficult time making ends meet in addressing the water quality in their area? And the second question, I'll make it quick, I want to get over with. You described a recent trend for local communities to take on more debt to address local water challenges, yet often the communities have insufficient tax and user fee revenues to cover these debts. I strongly believe they want clean water just like anybody else, but often have competing needs for municipal service, fire and police, that need to be addressed. And the solutions for this change would be what? How can the federal government play in this?
Right. I think it's important to understand that private equity, even with the presence of the tax credits that President Trump and some of his team have talked about, would have very little value for many communities. If you are already struggling to find the financial resources to repay municipal bonds at 3% or 3.5%, it's unlikely that you're going to magically have the resources to be able to cover the return on private equity that can be anywhere from 10 to 18%, depending on the project. And again, even with the presence of tax credits bringing down the cost of that equity somewhat, it's still going to be a stretch for communities. And I think one of the things that I have found that is troubling about some of the public-private partnerships that have happened in recent years is the extent to which local communities are paying the premium price that goes along with a P3, but not receiving some of the benefits that we normally associate with this form of procurement. Specifically, if we compare this to the transportation side, we see that there is more of an opportunity for true risk transference, especially for projects that may exceed $1 billion or $1.5 billion. But when we're talking about smaller systems where the only infrastructure upgrades that are contemplated as part of these capital improvement programs are basic repairs and rehabilitation, replacing of pump stations, we can't really honestly say that that private sector contractor is taking on this risk payment because of the complexity of the work. Again, some of these contracts have the public maintaining complete liability for any environmental discharges that violate federal or state laws. They have the public on the hook for any rate increases for the water deliveries they may take for regional drinking water providers. They have the public on the hook for any cost overruns in the infrastructure projects that they have in their capital plan. So to my mind, it's troubling for us to say to local communities, don't worry, you can always go out, take equity capital, take these tax credits from the Trump administration, and that's going to solve your problem. It just really isn't.
Anybody else? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Ms. Pape,